Alright, welcome back to the game, guys. It is currently 2-1 in the overall team score between mYinsanity and Acer. It is a best of 5 between these two teams, and this could be the deciding series. If mYinsanity can close this out, if Kane can win over Nerchio, it will, in fact, be a 3-1 victory. But if Nerchio can bring this back, it'll take us to the ace match. It'll be Nerchio returning versus Joxy if that happens. We'll see how it goes, though, guys. Spawning in the lower right corner of the map in this fresh best of 3. It is the red Zerg player, Acer Nerchio. And he's trying to get underneath Kane's skin. Can't fault him for that. His opponent in the top right, well, you can fault him for that. I'll talk about that more in a second. It is the blue Zerg player, mYinsanity's Kane. So Kane, of course, did fly to Europe. He's living in the mYinsanity team house at the moment, guys. He's a pretty cool dude and a really swell guy. Nerchio and Kane have obviously had a bit of differences in the past, and right now what Nerchio's doing, like, okay, this sounds really silly, but he's trying to put Kane, like, on tilt, even if it's just the very slightest, because that's going to affect how you play. Like, when you're typing a game, maybe you miss a drone, maybe you don't quite get that extractor trick off, maybe your overlord is late a little bit because of it. Like, It seems like BM, but there is actually a legitimate amount of strategy to this. Now, of course, a lot of people frown upon this, and tournaments often have rules saying no typing after the GLHF to prevent this sort of stuff from happening. I gotta be honest, though. I like it. It adds a little more sauce to the, a little more spice to the sauce, a little more flames to the fire, and all that stuff. And I think a lot of people dislike Nerchio's BM, and I agree. He probably shouldn't bring it out in public as much as he does. But again, I like it. It adds a little something to the cast. It's not a boring tennis match when there's someone shaving their tennis handle into a shiv and trying to fight the other person. That's a terrible analogy, but that's the closest you're going to get to something that makes sense out of Rifkin. Anyways, no gas is coming out of Kane. We do see Nerchio taking his extractor a little bit sooner. One thing Nerchio is incredibly skilled with is his Ling control. Early on, a Ling all-in wouldn't be too bad against a player like Kane, especially if he's really busy chatting away. I'm sorry, I'm trying myself not to get carried away by chat here. It's, you guys can read into it as much as you want. I'm trying to focus on the game. Hatchery gets pinged up here, is of course finishing up here in just a second's time. Not sure why this was pinged. Okay, anyways, not a big deal. Hatchery coming out sooner will, of course, mean that you're going to have a little bit of extra larva production. You'll be able to do a little bit more sooner and, well, quite frankly, have a little bit more to work with. Not that that's a big deal, but Kane is, of course, making a couple lings here. You know, typically you send 2 lings across the map into ZVZ. You try and get some scouting information. If you get it, fantastic, great. And if you can't, well, then you usually take a small bit of a fight, try and take a drone, go down fighting. Kane, however, is going to be able to kill the lings with his own lings, perhaps? Ladies, please. Please. Coming across the map with those lings of Kane, Nerchio's not going to get the scouting information off that he wanted to. Of course, he's going to try and use his own queens to kill the lings of Kane, and wants to make sure that he doesn't actually get to the mirror line, that he doesn't actually pick off any drones for free. Okay, well, lings are just going to poke in and leave. I'm sorry, this is just like, if you consider this in the context of BM, guys, this is like the lamest BM. This comes down to the point where it's like, yeah, well, your mom's so fat that she did this, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, yeah, well, you played League of Legends. Oh, well, you played StarCraft too. Like, yeah, whatever. Spycore is going to come home defensively here for Kane, and of course he's got that extra queen out, not only to spread creep, but to be a little bit more defensive. Main base is completely saturated up, and he's got metabolic boosts on the way. No one's really looking to do that crazy aggression yet, but it's usually this inject, or if not this one, the next one that really shows when a lot of lings come and the drones start getting cut. But in fact, Nerchio will be going for a slightly quicker layer. Nerchio is, of course, a player, by the way, who's not only innovative, but he's willing to use every aspect of Zerg available to him. Oftentimes, you'll see Swarm Hosts, you'll see Broodlords even sometimes. A couple of lings do die over here, but Nerchio will clean this up, and Kane will not get that scouting information that he was hoping to get. Yeah, it's just seeing regular stuff. Seeing the extra gases come down obviously means, hey, it's probably going to be Mutalist, but Kane is going to flood, guys, with lings and more lings. Banelings are going to be fantastic if he can get away with this. I really like that he's chasing the Overlord out. Now, for Nerchio to see him going out of his way to push the Overlord away, Nerchio's such a good player. If he's not busy typing, he might stop a minute to think, like, oh, hey, that's a lot of lings. He confirms it's a lot of lings, too. Kane, unfortunately, with the queens pulled back, do not quite get to snipe those lings in time. Now forced to move out. he chased off the Overlord, so Nerchio wouldn't see the timing in which this moves out, but unfortunately for him, the jig is up and he has to go. So Speedlings are coming across the map. They do, of course, not actually, hold the phone, not Speedlings just yet. Medbug was finishing up in his second time. Banelings, of course, for Nerchio are being made right now, a little bit out of desperation. Kane, though, oh my god, that is a hell of a lot of Banelings morphing in right outside Nerchio's base. And Nerchio, he's only got the means to kill about maybe a quarter of them before they detonate. And all it's going to take is one good hit out of Kane to wipe out these Zerglings from Nerchio. Of course, neither player has +1 Carapace, so everyone's going to take a lot of damage. Goes right into the Spine Crawler. Trades out Baneling for Baneling. Kane's got to be careful, though. His Banelings are, of course, a little more precious than Nerchio's are. Doesn't quite get the connection to the mineral lines that he wanted, and Kane's aggression is stopped dead in its tracks. Nerchio holds this really nicely with very, very minimal losses. Hell, he's even got some more Banelings behind this. Spire is on the way, and Kane is on the clock, guys. Tick-tock, tick-tock. He has to end the game. Once those Mutalisks come out, he's going to be really wicked far behind. I realize I said really wicked, and that's kind of like saying really, really, but still. Banelings training out for Banelings here. Don't even let them get hatched. 2 for 2 is how Nerchio's going to play it out, and Kane, well, he can try and make some Sporing Crawlers. He can try and turtle up off of this. I mean, both players do have kind of even workers off of 2 bases, but again, Nerchio's going to be moving towards the Spire, and Kane is not anytime soon going to be on that Spire. Yeah, it's popping off here, Baneling. Spine Crawler's even being re-erected. That's kind of cool. You don't see a lot of players replace it afterwards. Kane has accidentally misrallied a couple Overlords across the map, too. He's going to lose one of them. A little unfortunate. More Banelings trying to morph in secret, but Nerchio says, nope, not on my watch. And flooding back here towards the natural, wants to make sure he doesn't accidentally get Banelinged upon, because he didn't see the start time, of course, of these hatching. Oh, man. Oh, those Baneling connections were no good out of Kane. He's still got a lot of links behind this, so Nerchio's actually finally exhausted most of his own Banelings, so he's going to get us around on the Queens. He's going to get on top of this. His own Banelings finish morphing up behind the mineral lines, and a couple Zerglings are trying to avoid these to the best of their capabilities, but all it takes is one, and Kane loses everything. Good game is going to be called, and Nerchio will take game number 1 in this best of 3.